Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, like I was saying, I headlined the Blackest Tech Festival, and I talked on quantum computing because something we kind of talked about that last time. And I've been busy for the last 4 days, kind of like you, not like you though. You're a little bit more conference busy than me, you know.
Your turn will come.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a pleasure. Once again, I appreciate you so much.
How's the book coming? Thank you.
Going very well, very well. So the volume two did release. It's doing well, and I'm working on three right now. I should have it finished by December 21st.
So the collective work will be thicker than Project 25, which is
That is about
900 pages.
that's about right. What an interesting time we live.
Yes, no question about it.
Mhm.
So how did your talk go? Did it go well?
It went very well, actually. The So it's always good when the founder and the host and the people in charge, people who spend the money, come back and say how well you did and how they didn't get to attend, but so happy that everybody's been talking about it for the last 4 days, and then they did a vote apparently behind the scenes, and apparently everybody liked my little session, so that's always good. Maybe
It's a
they
good
get
thing.
an invite. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
No question.
Yes, sir.
So how can I help you?
I just wanted to know what's your vision for Black people for the next 50 years, and I'm gonna be quiet. I ain't got nothing else.
Well, I'm writing a book myself,
Yes.
um, The New Flex, uh, The Art of Being Unapologetically Black, Unapologetically Creative, and Unapologetically You. And it really is sort of a follow-up to my book, Success Runs in Our Race, The Complete Guide to Effective Networking in the Black Community, that I wrote nearly 40 years ago. Um, it is Most of my stuff is around visionary leadership. Where are we going to be? Where are we headed? What must we need to do for the next two generations? So, having written that book, you've seen it, right?
Yes, sir. Last time you showed I
Yeah,
don't know if you had the book, but you showed a couple of papers.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so that book was written for two generations going forward
Wow.
to help Black people understand the power of the human connection,
Mm.
um, as one of the five currencies of life. And so I tend to think way out. So Flex is going to be for the next two generations.
Wow.
So it's sort of part two. Success Runs in Our Race, again, focused on effective networking, thus building unity, collaboration, and trust. Without that, you have nothing,
Wow.
no culture. So this one uh, will be talking about the existential crisis of the Black family.
Wow.
I don't know if I gave you a 30,000-foot view on what I see as the crisis of the Black family.
I
Did
would
I?
love to hear it. I would love to hear it. I don't remember.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Um, uh, Flex will probably be 12 chapters, probably 8 to 10,000 words per chapter. So about 100, 120,000
Yeah. Oh,
words.
okay. Yeah, it's a real book. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a serious book.
Yeah.
And let me see. Success Runs in Our Race was, I think, about 10 to 12 chapters. And this is the book.
Wow.
And that was what, um, excluding the index, that was around 400 pages.
Mm.
Not quite the volume that you produce, but enough.
Right.
But the number one thing, the number one chapter. So I'll deal with what we must do for the next two generations, the next at least 40 years, in priority order. And the number one chapter will be about the existential crisis of the Black family. So, what is that? Let me give you just a context. There is no culture in the history of humankind that has maximized its full human potential without family being at the center of that culture. The only place that this exists, this problem, this existential problem exists, is among African American Black people. So this is a problem unique to Black folks in America. It is not what you will see on the continent in Africa. It is not what you see throughout the diaspora wherever we have been dispersed. It is unique to us. So what in the quickest way I can say it is the institute of marriage in our culture is at an all-time low. When I was a kid in the 50s and 60s, marriage rate was 85%. Today, marriage rate in the Black culture is 34%. And based on all facts, statistics, and trajectories and research, if nothing changes, if we don't fix it, within a generation, it will be in the low teens.
That's terrible.
34%. 72% of Black women are not married. 39% will never get married. 29%, I'm sorry. 66% of Black men are not married, and 33% will never get married. So how does a time-tested institution of marriage, biblically spoken about, get to such a state? It begins with the toxicity between Black males and females.
You said something there.
All right.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so that's sort of the 30,000-foot view. What has this done to the culture in addition to 70% of our children are born out of wedlock and 80% of our children are raised in a single parent household without male and female guidance and energy and models? All right. This is disastrous. Let me repeat those statistics. 72% of our children are born out of wedlock, and 80% are raised in a single parent household, principally by a woman. This is not good.
No.
Number two, I've always been preaching the gospel of building and properly managing wealth and closing the income and wealth gap between Black folk and white folk in America. The state of this condition has significantly impacted household median wealth. Significantly. We don't even talk about it. We talk about all these other remedies for, building and properly managing wealth, but no one talks about the reconstruction of the concept of family in a culture that puts no value on it. Right. So let's take a quick look at that statistically, because I'm like you, I do research. My ideas are not based on theory.
Right.
They're based on facts and statistics. And the facts and statistics tell us. Now, I always have to apologize when I say this in front of a large audience, but I'm going to say it to you without apology. It appears to me, based on facts and statistics, that our women, Black women in America, would rather have a baby than to be a wife. that's a mic drop right there. Whenever I say that in a large audience, you can hear a rat piss on cotton and
That's
joke.
about right.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So let's look at the statistics.
yeah.
The 5 major cultural groups in America. Household median wealth. It used to be white people were at the top, number one, for about 350 years. That's no longer the case.
Mm,
You'll see why in a minute.
mhm,
Who's at the top today? East Indians. Household median wealth, $124,000. What is the marriage rate in the East Indian culture? 94%. Second are Chinese Asians. Household median wealth, about 110,000. What is the marriage rate? Close to 70%. Third are white people.
mm,
Household median wealth, $81,000. Marriage rate, 57%. Fourth are Hispanics. Household median wealth, 61,000. Marriage rate in the Hispanic community, 67%. And at the bottom
mm, mm, mm,
are Black people.
mm, mm, mm.
Household median wealth, $51,000. Marriage rate, 34%. Now, you don't have to be a rocket science, my brother, to figure out there's a correlation between two people pulling the plow, working together, getting their kids in and out of school, into colleges,
Mm, mm, mm.
versus one. You don't have to be a rocket science,
No, and you dropped all facts. There's not a
right?
single
We're
opinion in
talking
there.
facts and statistics,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So yes, there are many other, and you do an incredible job in your treatise, your books, and just unraveling and unpacking and providing solutions. And it's a beautiful thing, no question about it. So we need more like you.
Thank you.
I don't know what your plans are in talking about the existential crisis of the Black family.
That's in book 3. The whole book is about that.
Right. So it needs to be addressed.
Yes, sir.
Um, uh, let me say it real simple. If we knew better, we would do better.
It's a fact.
So we don't even know these facts and statistics.
Mm,
I don't know of a Negro in America even talking about it.
mm. Me
And
either.
this is the underlying and foundational institution in any culture, right? I mean, now, so that's the big one.
Mm, mm.
That's the mother load.
Oof, that was a bullshit. And it gave me a question to ask you, if you don't mind. It gave me a question to ask you.
Go ahead.
How much of, I hate to put you on the spot like this, the church, because Black people are in church with these dismal statistics and facts that you mentioned. I don't know what I'm asking here, but I know I address that church aspect a lot in the third book because there's something wrong there between what we're doing.
Mhm.
But what do you think about that?
So I want to say this and still be loved. The Black church in America is a matriarchy. It is
Yeah.
not patriarchy.
Mhm,
You got a pastor,
mhm,
generally male, now more
mhm.
females than ever, that lead most Black churches. But the Black church is really run and controlled and managed by our women.
Yeah, and funded with their tithes and offerings, right?
I said control. You can call it funding if you want.
Sure, right.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is not a comfortable subject
Mm.
for a Black male to cover, right? Because you're really addressing your leadership, your money, your dollars.
People who pay your
So
salary.
let me say something very
Mm.
cynical, right? You don't want to mess with your money. So the more single women you have, the more of that money you can get. Let's just be real.
Mm.
Let me say it a different way. When we finish pontificating ad nauseum about our issues, somebody's got to write a check. Because you can't do anything in America that I know of any substance that brings resolution to any damn thing without money.
I mean, you can't even be homeless without money.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Right. And so it is not a subject matter that is vigorously preached and taught, in spite of the fact I don't have to tell you how many references there are in the Bible to the importance of this thing called marriage. Right?
Right? No, right.
When God, the only time that God was dissatisfied with his own work, there's only one time in the Bible that God was dissatisfied with his own work. And it's in Genesis 1:31.
Mm.
And God saw everything that he made, and behold, he said it was good. But the single time he was not happy was in Genesis 2:18.
Mm.
And the Lord God said, it is not good for man to be alone. Therefore, I will make him a helper.
Mm. Dr. Fraser, these some facts you dropping, man.
Huh? I will make him a queen helper who will be comparable to him. He clearly understood who the king was. He made the king first.
Mm.
But the king needs a good queen.
Yes. Yes.
I've been married for 51 years.
Wow.
To my wonderful wife. And 50 years ago, before we decided to get married, I said to her in a very simple way, Nora, if I ever become queen and you are the king, it's over. Right? She did exactly what you did. She laughed. She said, amen and hallelujah.
I know that's right.
Right?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. And then I said to her 50 years ago, do you know what a king wants? Do you know what the number one thing that your king will want from you? It is not sex. It is peace.
There it is.
My job is to go out, pull out my sword every day and fight the battle for the family and to provide and protect you. This is my job. We put our hand on the Bible for that. I am the provider and the protector of this family. That
Wow.
requires a tremendous amount of lifelong effort. When I come home, I don't want to have to go through the same shit that I have to go through out here in this world to
You
provide and protect.
you are talking,
I
sir.
want peace. So she said, amen. I said, well, do you know what the second thing I want? Respect.
Mm,
I will respect you and your role as a helper, my queen. All right. It
yeah.
doesn't mean that as the king, that you are not invested or involved in decisions of the family. Of course you are. You
Right.
are my consultant,
Mm, that's
right?
powerful.
I
That's
make
powerful.
no major decisions without your input, your wisdom, your
Powerful.
experience. But at the end of the day, and I said to her, look at me, I decide,
Mm,
right? So when we're sleeping upstairs in the bed and we hear some rattling downstairs, I get up
that's right.
and go look.
That's right.
The minute you have to get up and take my job, you're the king,
You're right.
right?
You're right. You're right.
And God has not properly prepared you for
Mm,
that responsibility.
mm.
So, the first chapter will be
That was just the first chapter. That's gonna be a heck of a book.
straight no chaser.
No chaser. No
Right.
chaser.
That's right. I know what you want from me. I'm not sure that many of our modern women, I'm not talking about old school women. I grew up old school.
Right.
And our mothers were wives, and they taught their children, if they had um, female children, how to be a wife. And the father taught their sons how to be a man.
That's right.
That was the model, the first
That's
model for us. And it was also the first model, if you had a daughter, on what a man is like,
you better talk.
so that it will inform your future decision.
Mm,
If you have no model, right, and your mother is teaching you how to be a man, that's not possible,
mm. I stand with you in agreement with that.
right?
Yeah.
So,
I get in trouble when I say that.
yeah, no, that's not how it was designed. So, uh, so what's the answer? It's complicated, Tony. It's
Yeah.
complicated. If it was
Super.
easy, why would God need you? It's complicated,
Fair enough.
right? There are no guardrails. Modern women were not fundamentally, I'm talking about most, not all,
Right, right.
to be a wife,
That's what I
right?
taught.
And right. And so did my wife work? Yes. Did she have to work? No. She worked because she wanted to.
Yeah. And as her king, you gave her
That's
that.
right. That's right. Right? She wanted it.
Perfect.
So we agreed and we made proper arrangements and proper investment into get her the assistance that she need to raise our children.
Mm, mm, mm. It's classic.
Now you see, it sounds so plain, right?
Right.
And it sounds easy, but it isn't. It's complicated because the world is different now,
Yeah.
Tonio. It's
Yeah.
different.
You're right.
The influences, the separation of the genders, it's extraordinarily complicated.
Mm.
So it's a major issue. Now, here is what might be going on and what might be a solution. Maybe because we are really creative people, Black people.
We are.
I mean,
We
we
are.
are. We were building pyramids and solving complex engineering problems when other cultures were living in caves.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
That's a
I mean, let's
historical
just
fact.
be, you're right. Living not only living in caves in the Caucasus Mountains and practicing cannibalism.
Yeah, you're right. That's
We were
another fact.
building pyramids. So
And
we're
mastering
really
astrology.
right. I'm not. This is fact.
That's
This is
facts.
not some made up thought.
World history is
So
Black history.
right, right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Let's get it really clear here, right? Europeans did not come to Africa, pull us out of trees eating bananas. That's total bullshit.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
civilized us.
Yeah, no,
No, we civilized them.
that's world
What
history.
the hell are you talking about?
That
You
is
just
world history.
changed the history, but it is now all coming out.
Right, right.
So it could be, this is pure theory here. It could be that Black folk in America are changing the definition of this institution called marriage. It's a legal,
Mm.
government-based contract that you sign between two people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually in the Bill of Rights. It says it almost nearly that way. It
Right?
literally says it like the foundation of this. I think it's like Article 1, Section 8 or
Right,
something. It literally almost says it exactly that way.
right, right. So maybe we ain't feeling that anymore, right?
Yeah,
And certainly government regulation said, you know, if for whatever reason you decide to depart from each other, the male gives up half of his stuff, just whatever it is. So it's not likely that well, it seems this way. It seems it's not likely that you're gonna make the right decision the first time out. You
that's fair. That's
you
fair.
young, dumb, and full of cum. No,
Lord
right?
knows I
So how many
was.
times do you want to give up half of your shit?
No, never, never.
Because you made a bad decision.
Right,
And that's possible.
right.
In fact, divorce is more common or
Yeah,
higher rate than marriage.
right,
So
right.
maybe for Black people, this concept of two is evolving into a cooperation, a partnership, maybe
Maybe.
a situationship,
Oh yeah, for sure that.
right? Your situation matches my situation. And as long as those two things
Oh yeah.
equal 1 + 1 = 11, not two, we will remain in this situation,
There you go. There you
right?
go.
But to legally be tied to you by some government contract,
That's
which you
right.
call marriage,
That's right.
um, is not the best option. I may have made a really bad mistake with your dumb ass,
Facts. Your
right?
your
Right?
your
You
theory
don't know
is
this day
solid.
one, day
Yeah.
5, day 10. This just takes time.
Takes time. Takes
All right.
time.
And I tell people that the chances of staying married
Mm.
are about 20%. Two, because five, one of five things can happen. So let's say we assume that when you decide to get married, that we are equally yoked.
Watch yourself, doctor.
That's the assumption,
That's the assumption.
right? I've been knowing you for 6 months. I've been knowing you for a year. I know you grew up in Cincinnati. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, right?
Mhm.
Two entirely different cultures. If you try to live in Brooklyn, New York, Nora Jean, that would be culture shock.
Yeah,
So
for
I grew
sure.
up in this culture with, of the same color, of the same
Mhm.
uh, uh, race, well, not race, but the same ethnicity,
Mhm.
right? So that's good. We're more likely to have things in common.
Right.
The culture of Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, New York, and the culture of Cincinnati, Ohio, for Black people,
Right.
two different things.
But it
So
may
we're going
not
to
make
try
us
this.
evenly yoked.
Right? So we're going to assume we're evenly yoked. So here we are. We start out evenly yoked. Over time, we evolve and we all change. We do. Hopefully, right?
Yeah.
So over time, four things can happen. I outgrow you, or you outgrow me. That's two. The second two is you grow in one direction, I grow in another direction.
Look at that.
That's four things. Or the fifth thing, we grow together like a twisted ficus tree.
Yeah.
And that's how you stay married till death do you part.
Look at that.
Because that's the commitment you made with your hand on the Bible.
That is.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's this is difficult.
It is.
And it's proven to be very difficult in our culture
It
because
is.
you see where marriage is now.
You bring up a
And
good point.
again, unless it's fixed, it'll be in the low teens.
How long you think that'll take to get to the low teens? Probably a generation.
Yeah, a generation. That's based on, now these are based on projections and trajectories.
Right. Right.
If the
They pretty
current
accurate.
state of unmarriage uh, 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 continues to exist,
Yeah.
nothing's fixed or changes culturally, it will continue to decline. Because it didn't go from 85 to 34 in a generation.
Oh
It
no.
happened over a couple of generations,
Yeah.
slowly but
Yeah.
surely.
Wow.
And now with 70% of our children being born out of wedlock and 80% raised in a single parent home, you see what's happening here. I remember when I was growing up, if you were in the neighborhood and you were a sister and you got pregnant, are you kidding me? You were sent away.
Mhm.
You were sent down south so nobody would know. It was the ultimate shame and embarrassment on the family.
You're right. You're right. You
Well,
are
that's
right.
changed.
No, that's completely changed. Now, now we on TikTok doing gender reveals. You know.
So I don't know if this is some figment of my imagination.
No.
I just know what the facts and statistics show.
I
And the underlying deep-seated psychological rationale and reasoning for this is a guess, quite frankly.
yeah.
Other than the fact that I know that there's the black male, females
Right.
are that those
Well,
relationships have changed.
well, we in competition with each other for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, and then, of course, two generations ago, our parents began telling our sisters, their daughters, don't ever depend on a black man being able to take care of you.
Yeah.
You must become self sufficient.
Yeah.
And our sisters did that. Now that Black women are probably the most educated women in America, according to all.
Statistically, they are in the world at this
Yeah,
point.
right.
Yeah,
No
in the world.
question
Yeah.
about it. In the
Yeah.
world, right? In the world.
Hmm.
Them, right? More of them are in medical school,
Yep.
dental school, engineering colleges, the high professions, accounting,
Yep.
right? The average Black wages of a female on a relative basis is higher than Black men.
That's right. That's right. That's a whole
So
thing in itself.
it's just self-fulfilling,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And then and I don't have to tell you the chorus of noise around our sisters saying, I don't need no man. I can take care of myself. So maybe from a financial standpoint, you are probably right. But from a holistic familiar standpoint, from the proper raising of succeeding generations, you need both male and female energy. That's how
Right.
that's a genetic thing.
Right. Right.
Now, it doesn't mean that there have not been sisters out here that have done a wonderful job
Right.
raising their sons. No, no question about that.
Hmm.
But that is not the norm. The norm
No.
is all this stuff we're seeing now.
Apparently, 72% is the norm. Apparently, that's what the statistics say.
Right.
We in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We
That's the meta problem.
Yeah.
That's the meta problem.
Yeah.
But it's not dealt with.
Yeah.
It's not talked about.
Yeah.
I don't even know if anybody's ever written a book on it yet.
I've closest I've seen is a documentary called 72 or 70% of kind of time what you're talking about, but that was about 10, 20 years ago. I've never seen a book on this.
Yeah.
Never.
So that's the elephant in the room.
Every major economist says we're going to be at Black people are going to be at negative or net zero net worth or negative net worth by 2040.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
much of what you're
2053.
talking, the 2053?
2053. That's right. That's what all the research, all the trajectories, all the statistics.
How
Right.
much of your
So
book?
as you've heard, might have heard me say that white folks are planning for 3 generations, and we're
That's
planning
right.
for Saturday night.
That's right. That's us.
Right. I would rather carry a plastic bag with $5,000 in it than to carry a $5,000 Louis Vuitton bag with $100 in it.
You currently have a viral clip going
That's
around
right.
social media.
Right. The
Yeah,
14
it's
million
everywhere.
14 million views.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because it resonates. It's
It
true.
resonates. Yeah, it resonates.
Right. So
Yeah.
maybe it's the first shot fired. But so that will and then I'll deal at a deeper level with the other things I've been talking about, and that of course is uh, the intergenerational transfer of wealth,
Right. That's
right?
a
And
it's a big thing to
moving
tackle there.
moving from what we were taught when the 11 of us in my family, what we were taught: get a good education and get a good job. That's what we were taught. And we were the pride of the family. I was the
Yeah.
pride of the family when I got me a good job with Procter and Gamble.
That's a good job, especially back then.
Procter and
Yeah.
Gamble, and of course Procter and Gamble was headquartered in Cincinnati. When my wife found out when I met her in Cincinnati at a conference, and she found out that I was working for Procter and Gamble. Oh yeah,
She had to take you off the market.
working for Procter and Gamble. My father used to. She said my father used to. She used to sweep floors for Procter. He was in maintenance.
Wow.
I said, well, no, I'm in the executive programming at P&G. So, so that was a badge of honor,
Yeah.
right? But now the new mantra has to change,
Yeah.
and it has to be get a good education and create a job.
They not
Create a job for yourself, create a job for your children. And if God gives you the power and the glory, create working jobs for our people.
Mm, mm, mm. I wish you had 1,000 people in front of you. They should, and they better have clapped when you just said that too.
Right? Now, so that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is the latest statistics on Black entrepreneurship. The U.S. Census Bureau does a study every 5 years on entrepreneurial development by cultural group.
Mm.
And the latest shows it with 3.7 million Black-owned businesses in America. 3.7, the highest number ever in the history of Black people in this country. 3.7 million. And up about 45%, and much of that percentage are Black women going into business. So that's the upside. What's the downside of that statistic? Only 161,000 of the 3.7 million employ anybody. The average annual revenue from those businesses that employ 1.4 million a year. That means that 3.5 million are sole proprietorships. And the average annual revenue is only less than $20,000 a year, which is below the poverty line. So what does that mean? It means that we are thinking differently.
Yeah.
That the whole notion of entrepreneurial development, creating work and jobs, and the path to become wealthy is clear. Sort of doing your own thing, investing in you, as opposed to investing in someone else or something else becoming rich. Now, it doesn't mean that we don't need Black people everywhere. We need Black people everywhere. We need Black people starting businesses. We need Black people in the public and private sector. We need Black people influencing government. We need them everywhere. Everywhere. But we damn sure need more of us thinking entrepreneurially.
Absolutely.
Right. So that that's moving in the right direction. Right. So now it's how do we grow these seedlings? These are seeds. That's how I look at it. These are seeds. The mindset is shifting. I don't care if it's a side hustle. I don't care. You're doing something independent of, in quote, your job.
Yeah.
You're using your creative skills, right?
Yeah.
You're producing additional revenue, because that's all a side hustle means. A side hustle means simply means an additional stream of income.
Yeah.
That's all it means. It's an additional stream of income. There should not be a Black person in America with a single stream of income.
I don't think nobody's written that book.
No.
Not what you just said.
With all the skills and talents that we have,
yeah,
you can't do more than one thing well? No, of course you can. We've proven that over time.
that might be your follow-up book to this. That might be.
So what has happened, Antonio, is we've become intellectually lazy. Right? Intellectually lazy.
I agree.
That we rely more on cognitive bias than critical thinking.
Right. Right. I completely agree.
All right. So you ask the average brother or sister what's their opinion of something. It's based on cognitive bias, their own personal experience. And then I don't want to embarrass them and say, what's the research on that? On that answer. I mean, other than that's what you thought, is there anything to back that up?
That would be a great question, but they don't answer that, or they probably hit you with whatever comes out their church.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this is what the pastor said.
Exactly.
That's lazy. And I don't have to tell you, you know the old trope. You want to hide something from a Black man, put it in a book. Right? So we don't read. We don't read. And so we have ended up being the consumption class in America, and others are the merchant class. They make stuff, we buy stuff. It's just easier.
Right.
As opposed to making the stuff ourselves, which requires critical thinking, risk. all the things necessary.
Yeah.
Right. So, so the trends are good.
Yeah.
We're thinking that. And now how do we build on that and to develop that? Right. And that's the next big leap. That's not the issue in the East Indian and
Yeah.
Chinese community.
No. No,
Right?
they set up shops in black
Oh
communities
shit, are
to
you
take
hell?
our money.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't even like us.
No.
And in fact, the Asian community has solved their own unemployment problem, opening up small Chinese restaurants in the hood. They employ almost 2 million of their own people just in that. Right. And the question I ask all the time when I talk about this, I say two things. If you go into a Chinese restaurant in the hood and there are four brothers waiting on you, leave. That's not a real Chinese restaurant because
No.
they don't employ black people. They
Mhm.
employ their own people.
Yeah. And I ain't mad at them for it.
Right?
We
No,
we,
hell
we need to
no.
do
That's
it.
exactly what I
Yeah.
say. And you can't be mad at them because that's what the
No.
hell we should be doing.
Exactly.
So, no question about that.
Yeah.
Then the second question I ask is, have you ever seen a long line of Chinese people trying to get into a soul food restaurant?
Never.
Hell no.
Never. That's not. The world is ending that day. That's for sure. That's crazy. No, never. But the opposite happens, don't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ain't no question about it. They wouldn't be
Especially on
there.
Sundays
That's right,
after
right.
church.
That's right. They wouldn't be there if we wasn't
Yep.
lining up to buy their stuff.
Yep.
And
Yep.
again, you can't hate on them,
No,
right?
they doing what they should do.
So it's the basic principle of capitalism. Find a need and fill it.
Yep. And they
Even if you
going,
don't like the people that much.
oh no, they like the money. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
only color that really matters is green.
That's right. And we treat our
So in
green
green,
disposably.
right.
Yeah.
So as I tell black people all the time, until our pile of green is as big and as high and as deep and as wide and as leveraged as every other cultural group's pile of green, we will never be considered an equal at the table of
Never.
democratic capitalism.
Never. Never.
Right. So we got stuff, but we don't have assets.
Right.
So, right. So we believe you make money
Yeah.
to buy stuff, the stuff that you want that makes your life comfortable. They don't, why people are different. They believe you make money to invest. In other words, their idea is to put your money to work harder for you than you did for it.
I know
In
that's
fact, if you're working harder for your money than your money is for you, your money is pimping you.
that's right.
You ain't pimping your money.
I fully agree. That's right.
It doesn't mean that you don't buy stuff. You have to have stuff. There's things that we want to buy,
Right.
but that's a certain percentage
Yeah.
of whatever you earn each month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those percentages are way out of whack in our culture.
Completely. Completely. We get money and buy the lifestyle
Yeah,
and instead of
that's
investing
right.
so we
They
can get the
take it.
lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. As I said, the goal is to win, not to look like you're winning.
So that viral clip. It's
Right.
everywhere. I tell you, everywhere you
Right.
turn on social media, that clip is there.
Yeah, you ain't winning. Louis Vuitton is winning. Gucci is winning.
Yeah.
Armani is winning. Nike is winning. Your ass ain't winning.
Nothing.
You're consuming.
Nothing.
And they're going to do everything in their power to continue to influence you to consume.
That's right.
And if you understand the research, all of these big brands have two different lines, let's say, of clothing.
Yeah.
Right?
You right.
One is with Louis Vuitton or Armani spread out all over it. So somebody walk past you, they can't help from seeing you wearing an Armani. That's for us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But for them, it's very discreet.
That's right. That's right. That's a good point. I've never
You
had
see,
nobody bring that point up. That's a
see,
good point.
poverty is loud, wealth is quiet.
You own it. You own it. Man, you're right. You are
Right?
absolutely right. Mm, mm,
So
mm.
it's a self-esteem issue. It's a
Yeah,
flexing issue. And so in redefining what, if you look up at the slang term of flex is showing off,
yeah,
flash and dash, that kind of thing. That's what the slang version. And I'm going to redefine the new flex is about how does one add value? How does one do something that that moves everything along?
yeah.
That's the new flex. And I get old school on folks when I describe it wasn't called flex back then, but
What
it's
was it called?
if this thing was done today, it would be the ultimate, from my perspective, the ultimate flex move. So it was back in the, in the 1964 Olympics. Tommy
Oh
Smith,
yeah, oh yeah.
yeah,
That's a classic, really. Yeah.
they got when they win gold and silver. In the 400, they get up on the Olympic platform and their pocket pull out a black glove, put it on them. That's right. Now they lost their medals because of that.
Yeah, they did.
Picture is an iconic picture.
Iconic.
That picture, that alone, not winning the gold or silver, changed their life. It was the first time the Black Power salute, which they did not create. Stokely Carmichael came
Mhm.
up with the title.
Yeah,
They put on a black glove and reached up into the sky with the fist. That's the first time the world had ever seen
ever
that.
seen it? One pair of gloves. They shared it.
That's right. That's right.
That's
Now, as the
wow.
brothers in the hood would say, that's a flex for your ass right
That
there.
is. Yep. Yep.
Right.
Right. Wow.
So, um, yeah, there's much to say. Much
Much.
to
I'm
say.
looking for. I'm definitely buying multiple copies, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be. You know how they call it super fans, people that post content for you. I'm gonna be posting
Yeah,
every
yeah,
day.
yeah,
Get this
yeah,
book.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Get this.
yeah,
I'm gonna be a
yeah.
super fan.
And we'll slice and dice it, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how we like stuff. That's why those little thin slice videos that
Hmm.
all of those videos come from an hour speech that I've given someplace.
Yeah.
Somebody
Wow.
and a good friend of mine, Sean Croxton, just thin sliced it to 30 to 60 seconds of the hot stuff, right?
Wow.
And they've gone viral. But
You gonna get
that's how we consume because we have the
yeah.
attention span of a gnat.
Yeah, well, you gonna get this video because you got a lot of viral stuff in
Right, right, right. But
it. Yeah, buddy. You,
yeah,
you have been talking, sir. You have been talking.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's been
sure.
it's been it's been very rigorous and extraordinarily busy. And then you write a lot and it's very difficult for me only because I have too many interruptions. And
Right.
they
That's the
they say that
worst thing for a writer.
every interruption, text message, phone call, whatever it is delays whatever you're doing by 20 minutes.
Whew.
Because you know what, writing,
Yeah,
you got to narrow focus, you got
yeah,
to concentrate, it's got to be for me
yeah.
at least.
Not
I'm
for
sure
me
for you
too.
too,
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
right? You
no,
got to have peace and quiet
yeah,
so you can think.
right,
And an interruption, that thought pattern is disrupted,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And you handle whatever that interruption is, and then you go back to trying to get back to where you were. The in round numbers, 20 minutes.
yeah. You're
So
right.
take 15 of those interruptions a day, you ain't gonna get nothing done.
No, and them 15 minutes of interruption gonna happen
Oh yeah,
in an hour with today's
yeah,
technology. Yeah,
yeah, right. Right. So you're
yeah,
putting out a fire, solving a problem, answering a question, whatever. It disrupts your flow.
man.
Your what I call your spiritual download. I tell people all the time, I didn't write Success Runs in Our Race.
Mm,
I just sat in a chair with a legal pad and a pencil.
wow.
Right. In fact, I went to a hotel for 2 weeks. so that there would be no interruptions, peace, total
Absolutely.
peace and quiet. Didn't let anybody know
Absolutely.
where I was other than my wife. Told her, don't call me,
Yeah, right.
right? And I sat there and I wait for the download.
Right.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
So, spiritually
No,
speaking,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
it's and this. So it's
Absolutely.
I don't know if any of these thoughts have helped you, but
What?
yeah, yeah,
No, this has been crazy. I appreciate the time. Before you go, I want to be at your because we both be traveling. I've been trying to keep up with you and see which conference you're going to be at. It's a little bit too hard for me to sync my schedule, but you do a major conference every year.
yeah. We just
So
finished it.
you just finished it.
There's a
Okay,
special
then.
offer. There's a special offer on the social media right now. What we call a super early bird
Okay.
offer, and it's for one adult and one young person, both
Okay.
together, because we encourage all of our registrants. Because we pack, it's going to be in Atlanta.
Okay.
This year is going to be May 28th to the 31st, and so there's a super duper deal. It's a 20, basically it's a $2,300 package for
Okay.
$499.
Okay.
So
Good.
it's one adult and it's only good for a day. So because so we've been swamped. But if you want to take advantage of it.
Well, I want your VIP level because I'm smart enough to know you pay for access. You understand? So
Oh,
I
you do?
want
Oh, yeah. Well, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. I
I
want
was
your
going to say
VIP.
that. I wasn't going to say it to you, but you brought the damn thing up. Only way, if I'm not speaking, the only way I will attend a conference is VIP.
There you go. You
It's the
better
only
talk.
right because you pay for access,
Pay for access. I want your
right? You got
VIP.
private parties. You go in the back of the all that kind of stuff. So
Yes,
you're
sir.
right. You're right. And so if you want, I mean, because interesting enough,
Mhm.
fortunately, there are a lot of brothers and sisters that think like you, think like me on that. Interestingly enough, the VIP sells out first because we have limited number. You can't have a 1,500 person
Yeah.
crowd and 1,500 people are VIPs.
Right, right.
Then there are no VIPs. It's a very, very small group,
Absolutely.
right? And you have to
Absolutely.
limit that so that you can give them, special
That's right.
access, and all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
So I would say take advantage. I'll send you something when we get
Absolutely.
off. Do I have your email? Or
You
I have
I'll make sure you get it.
email.
Make sure you get a day. You send me the VIP and I'm gonna get 2 tickets for sure. I'm gonna get, and if it's early enough, I might even fly Ina out from France.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
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 I would love that.
yeah. So I'm
I
gonna
was,
get at least 2 to 3 for sure.
What do you think about some of the things I just said? What do you think? What's your thoughts? Have you ever heard these things before?
well, because since working with Antonio, yes, but otherwise before, no. Because like you said, it's not the problematics aren't the same over here with the Black community. So it doesn't play. We see the movies over here, so we can, so we can have an idea. But no, I was so surprised. Like I said to Antonio at a certain point when he says like, those that white privilege, those white people, and I'm like, man, I feel a bit insulted. But on the other
Right.
hand, but
Well,
on the yeah,
it's not, and darling, don't take it as a negative. It's not a negative. It is a contrast. That's all it is.
That's it.
It's a
yeah.
That's it.
contrast,
But
That's it.
right?
at the
Right.
beginning, I was like, and now when I'm like listening to him, it's like yes, and then I'm like, now I want to help where
Yeah.
I can to make sure that this cannot continue, this will not continue.
Yeah.
So
Antonio,
Yes,
let,
sir.
let me give both of you a statistic
Please.
that will sort of address what Ina is saying with between the issue between black males and black females.
Mhm.
The interracial marriage rate of black men marrying white women has quadrupled. Has quadrupled. Antonio, in a decade.
In a decade. I get it too. I
All black
absolutely get
men
it.
are marrying white women because they cannot find what I've just been talking about in the sisters. Don't mean that that there aren't sisters that have it,
Mhm.
but it's
I did
a
not know the
whole
quadruple,
different thing.
but it makes sense. Just in just
Yeah,
casual observation, it makes
right.
sense.
Well,
Wow.
to say what the problematic here is, in Europe, we don't have, and that might be the case, that might be why, we don't have real men anymore. So
Yeah.
that might be the,
We're dealing with the same thing now,
yes,
right? Now,
because
let me make a side observation here.
Mhm.
If 80% of our children are raised in a single parent household, principally by women, and the non-masculine rate,
Right.
the gay rate in Black America is the highest I've ever seen
Sure.
in the last decade. Certainly, being gay back in the day, you stayed in the closet.
Mhm.
And so more coming out of the closet.
Mhm.
But you cannot tell me that with Black women being the primary influence of most of our children, both male and female, they're being raised from an emotional level. You see, women are more emotional, as they should be, as they've been programmed to be. They're more emotional.
Right.
They can't teach a man how to be a man. You need a man for that. That's how God designed the system.
That's right.
Right. So you now have Black men being raised from a female, very emotional, different
Yeah.
kind of race being
Yeah,
raised.
you got Black men acting like entitled women, and they call it toxic masculinity. That's what you got going on. That's what we're raising. We're raising Black boys to be entitled women. Is what we're raising, and we call it toxic masculinity.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
That's what it is.
So I didn't want to get into that, but you brought it up. but again, you got to deal with facts and statistics and what are the
Right.
trends? What are you seeing? What are you seeing? Well, we know what we see.
Right. Right.
Most
Right.
people don't want to talk about it because it's controversial.
Right.
Right? It's kind of we don't want to hear. Let's put it in black terms. We don't want to hear that shit.
No, not at all. Not at all. And we say it strongly too.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
We
because
say
you don't
it
want to hear
strongly.
you don't want to deal with it.
That's right. That's right. I put my email in the chat too. If you got access to the chat, I put it in the chat for you.
So I'm gonna if you take action now, I will give you a special rate on a VIP.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Special rate.
Mhm.
And we can do it over the phone by credit card, but you
Gotcha.
look at it first. I'll give you a special rate on. Now, normally I don't do special VIP
Completely
because
understand.
we sell them out anyway. But this
Right.
is a special
Yes,
relationship.
sir. Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
So but you got to take action now.
Yes, sir.
So this has been awesome. Now
Appreciate you.
let's make a commitment to each other. Let's do this like we're doing now, at least once every other month,
That's perfect. I
so you can
appreciate
stay
you.
connected.
Yes, sir.
Right? You may want to. I pontificated about what content of what I'm writing on, and then you might want to talk about some things that because I got your stuff. I don't have. You. You said your second edition is out.
Yeah, but I've been so busy. I haven't sent it to you. I don't even have it behind me. I haven't even bought it myself.
Yeah. You got
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah, because I have the now. I have a
Yeah.
manuscript.
You got the manuscript, but I've been traveling
I
so
don't have.
much. Yeah.
Let me see. Here's what I have. Let me show you what I have.
This has been amazing. I love this guy. That's a lot of papers.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
have. And I've reviewed it. It's just, it's incredible. I mean,
I thank you.
it's a masterpiece. It might be your masterpiece, right? And so this is from volume 2.
That's it. That's the one.
Yeah,
Let's do
volume
it.
2.
Yeah.
So now is volume 1 bound?
Yes, volume 1 is right here. You're looking at it right
Okay,
here.
do you? I don't think I have volume 1.
You don't have. I know we. You know what? We'll resend it. It
Oh,
could have got lost in the post. Could we sent it to the PO box maybe or
see.
something?
Yeah,
Possibly.
I have it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, I can see
I
it too.
have it.
Look at it.
I have the
Yeah, there
bound
it
volume.
is. Yeah, I
Yes,
saw
I
when
have
you pointed to it.
I have it. I have it. I have it.
Yeah.
And it's signed. So, when you get it bound, send me
Yes,
autograph and
sir.
send me a copy.
Yes, sir. I sure will. I
And
sure will.
I'll figure out a way to brag about it at the conference.
Yes. Well, I appreciate that too. Yes, sir. I sure will.
Yeah. And then of course you would want to sell your books at the conference, so you might want to get an exhibit.
Okay. Yeah. Didn't even think
Yeah.
about that. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get you this information as soon as we get off.
Yes, sir.
Um, and then you let me, you want me to call you, and we'll just handle it over the phone.
Over the
If you
phone.
have the cash flow, I mean, whatever,
Yes, sir.
whatever. All right, okay.
Yes,
And we'll
sir.
handle it over the phone and get it done.
Yes,
And then
sir.
we'll be up in there.
That sounds perfect.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And any questions you have of me, dear?
I'm talking to you, Ina.
She can't hear me?
Yes, no, I can hear you. Well, no questions, but I really want to thank you because I follow you a lot, as well on and yeah, I'm making it my mission to help. So if I am privileged being white and I can help, then that's what my mission is now. And I really like I really like listening to you because you explain it in a way that is very easy for me to understand what the
Yeah.
problem is, because like I said, I was a bit outside of the US, so I couldn't really see it. So now the way you explain it, and sometimes when I look at what you post, it's like, yes, I really want to fight.
Yeah.
for
I posted something the other day that got tremendous response. And I'm going to read it to you.
Sure.
Um, and I hope it hits home. It says, when a flashlight grows dim or quits working, you don't throw it away, you change the batteries.
Mm.
When a person messes up and finds themselves in a dark place, you don't cast them aside. Of course not. You help them change their batteries. Some need a double A, attention and affection. Some need a triple A battery, attention, affection, and acceptance. Some need a C for compassion. Some need a D battery for direction. And if they still don't seem to shine, simply sit with them quietly and share your light.
Wow. Yes.
That was a great way to end this.
Right? So this is what we're doing. This is all
Yeah.
I'm saying. That's real, it's just a, a, a metaphorical way to say the same thing. The
Yeah.
other way to say that, I said this on a talk that I gave. When you take your lit candle and light another candle,
Mm,
your candle doesn't go out.
that's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So that's the beauty and the importance
Right.
of this kind of open dialogue sharing,
Yes, sir.
right? Right. Your strength or my strength doesn't make you weaker. Actually, hopefully it makes you brighter,
Amen.
right? Because
Yeah.
you're going to say it your way. right? You may have the seeds of an idea, but you'll find ways and stories and metaphors to say it your way. Oh, in a way that I would never think to say it. Right? That's just the uniqueness of us all.
Mm.
Right? So the way you say it will be as unique as your thumbprint. And there are 8 billion people in this world. There is no thumbprint that is the same. Right? This is the incredible magnificence of God.
Mm.
I mean, who thought of that? Right? Now, here's the other thing, and we'll close with this. When you go, and you will go, I don't know of anyone who's ever survived death. There will never, ever, ever, ever be in the history of humankind another person exactly with your DNA algorithm. You are the one and only in the history of humankind.
Amazing.
Right? And so when you understand that about the human and the human spirit, you understand how precious that person is. Totally unique. And that person who then maximize that uniqueness as you do, you think and write and you give, right? This is precious. This is a gift,
Mm.
right? Never to be duplicated. Right?
Precious.
Yeah. So I salute both of you, and the work that you've done with Antonio and your persistence.
Oh my
And
God. I had no idea she was still messaging you.
yeah, I mean, yeah, no. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
The respect and it's patience. It's a beautiful thing to have and know for both of you that the gift that you have to give to humankind is that of your own self-transformation. That's the gift, right? That's the gift we all give, our ability to think and to change and to transform. And we choose. We choose.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of God. He will never, ever, ever take away your ability to choose. You choose. If your life ain't shit, it's because that's what you chose. You chose the people around you. You chose not to do this, not to do that. All available. Ain't no secrets, all available. Our lives are a reflection of our choices. So you chose, Antonio, you chose good, honey, you chose good.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So stay the course.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Ina, make sure he get my email.
Yes, I will.
You sent it to
Thank you
me.
so much.
Ina, did you send it to me?
I'm sending it right now.
Send it to me right now, and then I'll flip this over and then put Antonio's cell number in it.
Yes,
So
both. Yes,
okay,
please.
so that I can call
Yes, sir.
him. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you.
All
Ina,
right.
make sure don't make sure they get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Antonio, are you married?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She was on the call the last time.
Oh
Yeah. She wanted to jump on this time, but she said her exact words was, "I'm gonna be moving around a lot, and I don't want to be disrespectful." That was her exact words.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
because
the
she
queen.
knows you my heroes. That's how she
That's your
processed.
home queen,
Yes, sir.
and Ina is your business queen.
That's it.
Yeah.
And she does well.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Bible confirms that we could have more than a single queen or a
That's right.
single woman in our lives, depending on the roles that they play.
That's right.
right?
I'm lucky to have these two, and they worked pleasantly together.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
Yeah,
huge,
and they
man.
best
That-
friends. Yeah, so it
that
just
is
works out.
that is freaking huge.
Yeah.
That's huge, man. That's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge. All right, I'm out of
Okay.
here. This
Yes,
was good,
sir.
and
Thank you
I'll
so
get this
much.
stuff to you post haste.
I believe so.
Well,
Thank you so
you want
much.
to handle it today?
Yeah, yeah. I want to handle this today.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Appreciate you.
Okay, then. Thank you so much. All right,
Bye.
y'all. Bye bye.